Hey, 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 it's Shel Anderson from Shel's Creative Corner and Shel Anderson Designs. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. I blog at shelscreativecorner.blogspot.com and I can be reached anytime by email at andersonshell@gmail.com. Today we are going to be having a play with the Christmas season stamp set. This is actually a bundle, and we're also going to be using the Christmas to Remember stamps as well. Okay, so we are going to get started here. I have chosen Merry Merlot as my card base, and that's just a standard card base. And to that, we are going to add a crumb cake mat on which we're going to build our card. I'm still not 100% sure on my choice of crumb cake, but until we put this together, we'll never know. Now I've taken the liberty of doing some die cutting prior to the video so that you didn't have so much to watch me die cut and pick out all those little pieces. There is the first part of that die, and that is this die here. Now you can use these alone or you can layer them up. I'm going to choose to layer them up, and I cut the second one in the Merry Merlot, and as you can see, this will layer over top of this one and still allow the green to peek out behind. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to glue this one down, and I'm just going to use Tombow on these bigger areas and leave the leaves leave the leaves free flowing. Just have to make sure that that's all within our card, that there's no overhang. If you do happen to get a little bit of overhang, you might have to trim it, but mine looks to be okay. Now for this piece that I'm going to overlay, you have to make sure that there is an up and a down, because if I put it this way, it's not going to line up, right? So you have to make sure that you know which way you're going. And if you were smart enough to use the adhesive sheets, this would be super easy to do. But I remembered my adhesive sheets after I'd already die cut it, which is a little late to the party. So as you can see, I am just adding some wee dots of Tombow here, there, and everywhere. And then we are going to flip this back over and just line it up with the pine cone. And they don't have to be exact. There's room for a little bit of play in here. It's not an exact science. And then we'll just pat that into place. Isn't that pretty? Still not sure on that crumb cake background. Now I have an extra piece here as well, and I've also die cut a greeting, which I'm going to put somewhere. I'm not quite sure where yet, so we're going to kind of leave that for a minute. And I've also die cut some pine cones and some overlays. So we can put the pine cones on here. You see there's still the green and the Merlot popping through. And then I did a foil overlay for the pine cones. And all of these dies are in this bundle. So if we just layer those together as best we can, Here we go. And then pop that right there. See how we're building this into something special? Or I think it's going to be special anyway. As I'm sitting here looking at this card, this crumb cake background that I chose, I have a solution as to why I don't like it. Now I'm going to tell you this right off the hop. You know me, I call them like I see them. I think this should have been texturized with an embossing folder so that there's something to it. Either that or a tone-on-tone background stamp, like stamp with Versamark, something on there just to give it a little bit of texture. I think if we had used a subtle embossing folder, that it would have been better. So that's just my personal opinion, but we learn as we do, and that's my take on what I should have done. And I'm sure this is going to turn out okay. But when I do my next one, I will definitely try it with a texturized background. And maybe you like it. Everybody's taste is different. Maybe you like it with the plain background because there's so much going on this card. Like there's a lot of colors and a lot of layers. All right, let's get one of these little guys. There we go. Sure I have it going the right way. And you see it's not terribly hard to put these together. And like I said, it's not an exact science anyway. It's going to look perfectly fine, even if you're off a wee bit. And we're just going to continue putting these. I've got 2 more to do. Have some sticky fingers, let me tell you. Oops, 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 oops. Let's get this on here. Some semblance of straight. And that big guy there. There we go. And 1 more of these. Need to get a little glue off my fingers. And this is just gold foil that I've die cut with these dies. And it's early espresso cardstock for the solid images. There we go. All right. Now, I have one of these left over. I'm going to put it together. I don't know whether I'll use it or not. And I have pieces. I just had a little bit of extra cardstock, so I just cut those branches as extra. Paper snips. So we will have these pieces of branch to use. I'm going to snip that one right there. And you can just cut these to make them work for whatever you're going to use them for. I think that I'm going to use these on the inside of my card when I put the white or vanilla layer on the inside. I think I'll just group those together and then stick that, oops, stuck to my finger, and stick that on the inside. All right, so now we have this greeting, and I think what I'm going to do is I am going to grab a crumb cake ink pad. Actually, maybe not. I have another idea. I'm going to take this die and I am going to cut maybe we'll do one of each, and that way we'll figure out what we want to do. I'm going to cut 2 of these. And my idea is that I'm going to use them behind in the opposite direction as a matte layer. Hopefully that works out for me. If not, we just have a couple of extra mats. I'm going to try cutting 2 at once, see what happens. There we go. Because I have 2 there, I'm going to run this through a couple of times because it's overly thick. Oh, no problem at all. Awesome. All right, there's 2 mats. And I know it's very hard for you to see on camera, but this creates a little decorative edge on here with this die, which is pretty cool. All right, let's bring our card back in and see which of these we're going to like best. This is my thought. I'll put one this way and then I'll stamp the greeting and put it that way. I don't think I want the Mary Merlot one. I do think that I don't like that. So that was a bust of an idea that you just witnessed. However, I have another idea that we will try. I have a circle punch here, and I am going to punch out a circle and see if I like it with the circle behind it better. Which I do. I like that better. It shows better. All right. I have to take off that little edge because my punch is very old and it catches in one spot. All right. Now we need to stamp our greeting. So I'm going to pull in my Stamparatus, move those out again, and I have the bones from where I punched this out the first time. And you're thinking, what is she doing? Well, let me show you, my friends. I have a little trick. All right, I'm taking the magnets, even my broken one, and putting them down, okay? Now this will fit right back in here. You see that? So it has a little place that I can fit it in. Now this is great if you're mass producing cards. And my thought is I want to use this one. It says, "Friends like you make this season special." And I want to put that right here. I want to make sure I get it lined up good and straight. So in order to do that, I'm going to slide this magnet out for a minute until I get this placed. I'm going to slide this magnet back. This is a little trick that I use to make sure I have perfect placement before I actually stamp on my piece. If that makes any sense. When I ink up this stamp, actually I'm going to clean that stamp. I can tell right now it's not going to stamp good. Give it a good scrubbing. All right, let's ink it up again. Now we're going to stamp that down, and we can see if it's going to be close to the way we want it. And I can see that it's a little bit crooked, so I can adjust my stamp and find my chamois. Where is it? Yeah, right here, right beside me. So then I'm going to clean that off. Doesn't have to be perfect, but the best we can. And I'm going to re-ink and re-stamp it. And that's even worse. But see, I would have already ruined 2 pieces of cardstock. So I'm going to take this plate off for a minute. And I know I'm off camera, but I'm trying to eyeball this and get it straightened out. Let's try her one more time. Hopefully this time we've got her licked. I think I see part of my problem. I need to slide this just a titch. All right, let's try this. Okay, bang on. We are bang on, my friends. So I'm going to take out that plastic, re-ink my stamp, and stamp it down. And because I like my images super black, I'm going to stamp it the second time. There. Now if we were mass producing cards, we could pop this one out and pop another one in. Super, super easy. All right, we'll clean this stamp up. And put this away. And put this away. All right. Now, let's bring our card back in here. We can put some adhesive on here and pop that on our circle. And then we can grab some dimensionals and we'll give this greeting a little bit of lift. And I'm just going to aim for this area. Just make sure that this isn't off the edge of our card. There we go. Now we need a few little embellishments. We could go with gilded gems, easy enough. Or I'm thinking those metallic what are they called? Wow, I have too many things. way too many things. No, those are doilies. Pastel pearls, no. They're those little tiny metallic guys. I don't see them. All right, we're going to go with the gilded gems for this one, simply because I don't want to look anymore. So we're going to grab a paper piercer or a take your pick tool, and I'm going to put one up there. One over there. There you go. There is our beautiful, I love this. I just wish I had have texturized this back piece with an embossing folder. You know, nothing in your face, just something subtle. Either that or tone on tone stamping with Versamark. But that's beautiful. I love this. All right, I hope you enjoyed this card, and I will be back. I do videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. So you can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Facebook. Just Google Stamp with Shel. All right, thanks for stopping by. Bye-bye.